finally it's here, Osmo Pocket 4P. What an horrible release. The first rumors about this camera started around November 2025. Nobody knows what was this camera about. There was a lot of confusions between the Luna Ultra versus the Osmo Pocket 4P. And then the launch in Cannes, and then the very strange release in only certain part of Asia, and now finally the announcement. We will have some news about the release of Osmo Pocket 4P from the 30th of July. It was a very stressful journey. I was not quite sure which camera would suit my needs. I was eyeing the Pocket 4, a camera that still it's very valid and still relies on the D-Log1, which is a similar color profile that you can find in the DJI Pocket 4P. However, compared to the Osmo Pocket 4P, there was no lossless 3x zoom, so it was a little bit limiting, creatively speaking. And then the big surprise of the year, Insta360 Luna Ultra. I want to be very honest with you, I thought that this new camera was absolutely interesting. Technically speaking, it is also very similar to the DJI Pocket 4P, similar sensor, 1 inch and etc. And let's be very honest, very similar quality. What I really noticed from Luna Ultra is that the color science, it is absolutely odd, washed out and very mushy. Also, I heard from many people that the software, the user interface, they had some problems, some overheating and whatever, and to be very honest with you, I feel much more comfortable with the DJI products. This is when I decided to pull the trigger and I bought this DJI Osmo Pocket 4P from a South Korean retailer. Total price of 777 euro and import taxes for Spain, as I'm located at the moment in Spain, of just 53 euro. In the past I used to have the Osmo Pocket 3, a very good camera that allowed me to film my trips in Turkey, which is my favorite country ever, with amazing people and music. However, I just wanted to upgrade. I wanted a bigger camera. I wanted to learn the secrets of the trade of videography and etc. This is when I decided to buy the Sony a6700. Thanks to the Sony a6700, I learned a lot about shutter speed, about ISO and further regulation. This is when I decided also to travel finally in Turkey with this new equipment, and trust me, it was a pain in the ass. Imagine to carry a very heavy camera together with the lens, and then one day a revelation. A video that I took with my Pocket 3 received so many views in my main channel. I was absolutely mesmerized. I start to realize that at the end of the day, it's not about having a big camera or the best lens ever, but also to provide a creative, interesting and engaging product to the final audience. This is when I wake up in the morning, I look myself in the mirror and I decided to solve everything, and I went all in for the DJI Pocket 4P. I just have it right now, and this is what I'm filming with the DJI D-Log2. I will color grade here and there, and I will show you some footage. Let's go! At the moment I am with D-Log1, so you can have an idea on how the camera looks like, the colors and etc. We have some sun and shadow, so maybe it's not ideal, but at least you can understand how is the situation. I set up an ISO of 800. The shutter, it's automatic. something I absolutely recommend about the Osmo Pocket 4P is to set the custom button, so with just one click you can switch between D-Log 1 and the D-Log 2, because otherwise, I have to admit with you, it can be very tricky. Also, as I said, absolutely very important, if you're shooting with D-Log 1, you cannot change from D-Log 1 to D-Log 2 on the go, so you need to stop recording, then switch the lens. D-Log 2, it's very good if you have some static shoots, for example at home, some talking head, or you have a controller light, so there is no, let's say, environment challenges. For example, here I'm passing from darkness to bright sun, and in post-production I think this is very difficult to digest, especially because there are two different color profiles, right? The D-Log 1 and D-Log 2. I also saw that in DaVinci Resolve there are still not, let's say, smooth way. Of course there is the loot, you can apply the loot stuff at there, but switching again from D-Log 1 to D-Log 2, it's very difficult. So my recommendation, what I feel right now, is to tell you that if you are going outside, if you are shooting like gun and run kind of environments, I absolutely recommend the D-Log 1, because also you can zoom without the need to stop recording, switching, etc. It's much more smooth for sure. And then when you're at home, or when you're doing interviews, or when you are comfortable, you are confident that you will have a static shoots, then absolutely D-Log 2. But let's see together when I will return at home how the post-production process will look like. I also noticed a wobble when I just don't use the camera. In my personal opinion, I think this camera is absolutely much more fragile compared to the Pocket 4 or even the Pocket 3. So I think for sure a cover from AliExpress, it is absolutely necessary. I decided to try low lights right now to see if there is any difference. the D-Log 2, it's very difficult to handle, and I think that in daily life you will just need to use D-Log 1 most of the time. I don't see such a big difference, it's mostly a marketing thing. Sure, maybe there are 16, but I don't think 17 stops, but the quality it's very high for sure. I think that nowadays this is mostly like the first, let's say, device from DJI that provides two lens. I will say that it is experimental, and I'm confident that in the future, with maybe 5p, 10p or whatever they want to produce in the future, the workflow, which means switching from 3x lens to normal lens, will be much more smoother, much more professional, because right now there are so many limits. If you use D-Log 1 and then you want to switch the D-Log 2 while you are filming, you cannot do this, so you need to stop recording and do this back and forth, which is very frustrating. And also you cannot zoom with the D-Log 2, which is also very frustrating. And I noticed that when you zoom with the D-Log 1, 3x, 6x and whatever, the scene become much more darker, so this means to polish one more time in DaVinci Resolve or any software you're using. Overall, I'm satisfied of the quality of the image, and if you spend time with the color grading process, which can be again frustrating because of this dual lens of this device, can be nice, can be cumbersome, but still the final result, which means deliver a good image in such a portable camera, it's impressive. I do believe that if you spend time on color grading, you might even have similar results with a very high and expensive mirrorless camera. Switching the A6700 or DVE Mark II can make sense, especially if you use the camera like me for reviews or just for talking head like right now. Thank you so much, see you very soon.